Chapter 121 to 123. Goten's new appearance was similar to Trunks's, but his hair and the aura flames around his body were green. Successful! Goten finally succeeded in becoming Super Saiyan Alpha. Great! We will definitely win this contest! Trunks exclaimed excitedly. They hadn't needed to worry at all. Once Goten became Super Saiyan 4, he could easily defeat Jiren. With Goten's extraordinary talent, there was nothing to fear. It's amazing. This power is so strong, it's suffocating. Thankfully, Goten isn't our opponent. Otherwise, I might not even have the courage to fight him, Krillin said in surprise. He had never felt such powerful Kai before. It was no exaggeration to say that Goten's current strength was far beyond that of a Hakaishin. Krillin, let's leave Jiren to Goten. Let's eliminate the other universe contestants, Trunks quickly suggested. The fight between Goten and Jiren was beyond their help, but they could handle the remaining contestants from other universes. Most of the powerful ones had been eliminated, and those who remained were of middle or lower strength. With Majin Buu and Android 21, their team was very strong. Good, Krillin agreed immediately. Then, with a flash, he attacked the other universe contestants. They moved like wolves among sheep. Few could stop their offensive. Meanwhile, in the audience, Zeno and Grand Priest watched eagerly. Yeah, Goten is really amazing. He actually changed into a new form. Zeno danced excitedly. He had thought Goten was going to be eliminated by Jiren, but the situation reversed quickly. He has indeed become more powerful. This kind of strength, I am afraid, is not weaker than an angel. I really didn't expect Goten to make a breakthrough at such a critical moment. His current strength is indeed not weaker than Jiren from the 11th universe. It seems likely that the 11th universe will lose the next fight. Grand Priest nodded, speaking seriously. It was incredible for a mortal to surpass the level of Hakaishin and reach a strength comparable to an angel. Such talent was outrageous. If given time, Goten's strength could even reach Grand Priest's level. Since the birth of the universe, there had never been such a powerful mortal. According to Whis, Goten had only lived for a short dozen years, yet his power had surpassed Hakaishin and angel levels within a decade. This kind of strength improvement was appalling and unnerving. Beerus and Shin were naturally excited. They felt the terrifying power emanating from Goten. Whis, after Goten transformed into this Super Saiyan Vu form, can you feel how strong he is now? Beerus asked curiously. Goten's current strength is no weaker than mine. If we fought, I might not necessarily be able to defeat him, Whis replied seriously. Goten's power shocked him. When they first met, Goten couldn't even beat Beerus, but now, within less than a year, he had achieved angel-level strength. This kind of training speed was abnormal. In fact, such rapid growth was not necessarily a good thing. Many might see Goten as a potential danger. People wouldn't care if Goten had ambitions. His strength and talent alone could be perceived as a threat. Wise hoped Goten could restrain his talent a bit after the Tournament of Power, or keep a low profile to avoid trouble. After several months together, Wise had come to regard Goten as his apprentice. Naturally, he didn't want Goten to be too flashy and end up in trouble. At this time, on the 11th universe side, everyone's faces were ashen. Especially after Margarita mentioned that Goten's strength was not weaker than an angel's, all hope was lost. No matter how strong Jiren was, there was still a gap between him and an angel, and now Goten was stronger than Jiren. This seemed to be their fate as the 11th universe. In the arena, Jiren looked at Goten with serious eyes. At this moment, Goten stood before him like an unfathomable abyss, more like a vast and boundless universe. Standing in front of Goten made Jiren feel very small, and his firm belief began to shake. Before, he had been certain that Goten couldn't be his opponent. But now he had lost that confidence. The oppressive feeling, like facing the universe, made him understand the gap between them. Come on, Jiren. This is my true strength. Now let's decide the winner, Goten said lightly after becoming Super Saiyan 4. The power in his body was as vast as the universe, and he was very confident. Not even 12 angels could scare him. Along with his immense strength, he also had many powerful abilities, including those of Majin Buu, Janemba, and his immortal body. His strength had grown continuously, and now even an angel couldn't kill him. I have to say, you have indeed become stronger. But I said long ago that I absolutely want to win this game, and I must win. So no matter how strong you become, I will defeat you, Jiren said to Goten with a very firm gaze. He participated in this competition to obtain the Super Dragon Balls and bring his master back to life. No one could stop him from achieving this goal. I am sorry. I will tell you clearly you can't win this contest, Goten said lightly, extremely confident. Even if there were 2 more Jirens, he wouldn't be afraid at all. Jiren gritted his teeth and appeared in front of Goten like a ghost, then punched him hard in the face. Boom! The low crash sound was accompanied by a powerful impact. The surrounding platform was continuously shaken into powder, and there were fewer and fewer platforms to stand on. Boulders hovered in the null realm. What? Impossible! Does my full attack have no effect on him? Jiren was dumbfounded after punching Goten. He had shown all his strength and hit Goten's face precisely, but Goten remained motionless, his expression unchanged. It felt like hitting the hardest metal in the universe. As I said, you have no chance of winning now. You can't defeat me! Goten tilted his neck slightly, a faint smile rising at the corner of his mouth. He grabbed Jiren's wrist, and his right fist hit Jiren's stomach like lightning, sinking more than 10 centimeters. Boom! Puff! Jiren spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body retreated violently, smashing a dozen boulders before landing on one at the edge. Blood continuously overflowed from his mouth, and his abdomen churned from the powerful punch. Wah! No! Impossible. How could the gap be so big? Absolutely impossible. I am a warrior after fusion. While Jiren hugged his stomach and vomited wildly, he began to doubt himself. Despite the fusion, he was still no match for Goten. The gap between them was like a world of difference, and no matter how hard he tried, it was impossible to close it. The pain in his abdomen made him feel unprecedented despair. Whoosh! Just when he was in extreme pain and despair, Goten's body appeared in front of him again, like a god descending. Looking down at Jiren, who was vomiting in front of him, Goten spoke. It's over, Jiren. It is undeniable that after the fusion, you are indeed very strong, but still not my opponent. However, you don't have to despair. There is still a chance to do what you want in your heart. As Goten finished speaking, a huge ball of energy condensed in his palm, aimed directly at Jiren's forehead. What? What do you mean? Jiren asked, clearly confused by Goten's words. He believed that losing today meant the complete elimination of the 11th universe, with no chance of survival or reviving his master. Go down! Goten didn't explain further. The energy in his palm exploded instantly, swallowing Jiren's body and turning the huge boulder under his feet to powder. Jiren's body reappeared in the 11th universe's audience stands, seriously injured and unconscious. Jiren! Jiren! Belmod and Toppo rushed to him. Thankfully, his life wasn't in danger. Margarita quickly used her angel staff to heal Jiren's wounds completely. Despite the healing, their universe's fate was sealed. Dear, I'm so sorry. I can't help you, Margarita said to Belmod and Toppo. Although she wanted to change this outcome, she didn't have the ability or the right. The tens of millions of years spent with you have been very lucky, Margarita. Thank you for your care over the thousands of years, Belmod said, surprisingly calm about their impending erasure. He glanced coldly at Goten in the ring, regretting not being able to eliminate this arrogant mortal. Oh, how did Jiren get eliminated so quickly? Zeno asked in surprise. Goten had completely defeated Jiren with only 2 attacks. Yes, Goten has become too strong. Jiren is no match at all. Grand Priest nodded. Zeno-sama, all the contestants from the 11th universe have been eliminated. Just now, all the contestants from the 2nd universe, the 3rd universe, and the 4th universe have also been eliminated. Currently, only the 6th universe and the 7th universe are left in the ring. According to the rules, the 4 universes with all their contestants eliminated would be erased next. If that's the case, let's erase these 4 universes too, Zeno said, raising his right hand. Disappear! The moment his voice fell, white light was released from his fist. The gods and contestants of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 11th universes were enveloped in a silvery white light. Zeno-sama, please spare our lives! Please spare us! Cried several universe Hakaishin, begging for mercy. Despite their pleas, their bodies disappeared little by little, and the null realm quickly quieted down. The angels of the 6 remaining universes stayed, but their Hakaishin and contestants vanished without a trace. The once bustling null realm became empty. Although this was the outcome Beerus wanted, seeing his opponents being wiped out one by one did not bring him joy. Only the 6th universe remained, and within it, only the fused Kefla was desperately resisting. Her resistance was futile. Even after fusing, she couldn't defeat Trunks and Krillin, let alone Goten. Hey Beerus, I didn't expect to lose to you again this time. However, I must admit that the mortal level of your universe is indeed very high. We may never see you again. I have always been unconvinced by you, but now I am convinced. Champa, who had always had a contentious relationship with Beerus, spoke sincerely. At this moment of parting between life and death, past grievances seemed insignificant. Even being eliminated by the 7th universe, he did not blame Beerus, as this was beyond the Hakaishin's control. Champa, Beerus murmured, looking at his brother. Don't pretend to be caring. It makes me sick to see you like this, Beerus. Champa cursed loudly, changing his attitude immediately. He then proudly raised his double chin. Beerus did not refute this time, nor did he fight back. He knew this was Champa's last moment, and their brotherly quarrel was something that couldn't change in this life. With the disappearance of 6 universes, the competition in the arena was almost over. Boom! Krillin and Trunks blasted out with both fists, and Kefla quickly responded. However, after the impact, Kefla was knocked back by tens of feet. She had bruises of varying degrees on her body. The power of a fused warrior was formidable, but Trunks in his Super Saiyan of full form and Krillin, who was comparable to Trunks, were not easy to deal with. Their combined strength surpassed that of Goku and Vegeta. Under this strong alliance, even a fused fighter like Kefla struggled. Kamehameha! Final flash. After repelling Kefla, Krillin and Trunks unleashed their strongest attacks without hesitation. In this fight, only one universe was destined to survive. They had to give it their all for their loved ones, for the Earth, and to be worthy of Goten. Ha! Kefla immediately gathered energy to fight back. The 3 energies collided, evenly matched for half a minute. As Krillin and Trunks ramped up their efforts, the tables turned. After a few seconds, their energy streams hit Kefla, causing her to collapse into caulifla and kale. The boulder under their feet shattered, and they fell into the null realm, reappearing in the 6th universe's audience stands, signifying their elimination. With the 6th universe's contestants eliminated, the ending was expected. Zeno and Grand Priest remained calm, as this outcome was inevitable after Goten's breakthrough. Bang! Bang! As Caulifla and Kale fell to the 6th universe's audience stands, Caulifla looked embarrassed. She looked up at Champa and said, "I'm so sorry, Champa-sama. I was too confident again." She had hoped to be the most eye-catching fighter, but ended up losing embarrassingly. She didn't even get a chance to fight Goten. "Heh, you guys have always been like this. This result was within my expectations, and there is nothing to be angry about. Since you've lost, wait to be erased," Champa said calmly, not causing trouble or pleading. He knew it was all in vain. No one could change Zeno's decision. "Damn, it's a shame we didn't beat those guys," Caulifla said, looking at the 7th Universe's fighters. She wasn't afraid of erasure. Her biggest regret was not having a good fight with Goten. At this time, the Grand Priest's voice echoed. "6th Universe, all contestants have been eliminated. Zeno-sama, the competition is over, and the final winner is the 7th Universe." "Is it over so soon?" "Well, it was very enjoyable to watch. Since the 6th Universe is eliminated, according to the rules, it should be erased." Zeno raised his right hand high again. With a light grip, silver-white light shone instantly, covering everyone in the 6th Universe with a silvery white light. "Goodbye, Skinny." Ciampa waved at Beerus, then stuck out his tongue playfully. In the next second, the bodies of everyone in the 6th Universe disappeared. "He still acts like a lousy loser until the very end." Beerus clenched his fist tightly, his heart heavier than anyone else's. Ciampa was his brother, and although they always bickered, the saying, "blood is thicker than water," couldn't be changed. Seeing his brother disappear like this, no one would be happy. "Ciampa-sama," Vados murmured with some reluctance. Although it wasn't always pleasant to be around Ciampa, as he was lazy and fat, they had been together for hundreds of millions of years. Now, suddenly separated, she felt a bit sad. But as an angel, she knew she shouldn't have such redundant emotions. "Zeno-sama, all the fights are over. According to the previous rules, the universe that wins in the end will get a chance to make a wish to Super Shenron. Should we summon Super Shenron now?" Grand Priest asked Zeno. He didn't know what wish Goten would make this time. He and Zeno had already discussed this matter. No matter which universe won, there was only one wish they could make: to restore all the erased universes. If the contestant who won the tournament selfishly wished otherwise, the other universes would not be restored, and the wishing universe would also be erased. These universes were originally ones with a relatively low comprehensive level, and Zeno had thought of erasing them long ago. This competition was an opportunity for all universes. "Okay, since the 7th Universe has won the final victory, please, Grand Priest, summon Super Shenron." Zeno nodded. He then turned his attention to Goten and the others. He was very curious about what kind of wish Goten would make. Intuition told him that Goten was not only talented, but also ambitious. He didn't feel that Goten would make a selfless wish to restore the erased universes. Perhaps today, the 8 participating universes would be completely wiped out. "Okay," Grand Priest nodded. With a light wave of his staff, 7 huge Super Dragon Balls appeared in the Null Realm, suspended in mid-air. After the Grand Priest spoke the chant to summon the dragon, the 7 huge Super Dragon Balls exuded a dazzling golden light. Immediately afterward, the golden light condensed into Super Shenron. Super Shenron appeared in everyone's sight, still ridiculously big, making everyone feel smaller than dust. Grand Priest looked at Super Shenron solemnly. Even Zeno jumped off his throne to eye Super Shenron. This scene made Goten feel incredible. Zeno was the supreme god in all universes, the most powerful being in this dimension. According to rumors from his past life, if the dragon god Zalama was really just the former Grand Priest, then Zeno wouldn't bother with Super Shenron at all. And the Super Shenron created by dragon god Zalama should show fear and respect after seeing Zeno, just as Shenron of Earth showed to Beerus. But the current scene was different. Zeno was extra polite to Super Shenron, and Super Shenron showed no fear or awe when facing Zeno. "Whis, what kind of wish do you think that kid Goten will come up with?" Beerus asked, curiously. He couldn't figure out Goten at all. He didn't know what was going on in his mind. He always felt that Goten was very mysterious, besides being powerful. It seemed that many things were under his control. "I don't know that either, Beerus-sama. However, according to my guess, Goten will make a wish to make himself stronger," Whis speculated. Since knowing Goten, his strength had been increasing day by day. and his desire for strength seemed to far exceed that of others. Such a good opportunity, he should make a wish to make himself stronger. Hey, I don't think so. Although Goten yearns to become stronger, Saiyans don't want to become stronger in this way. Goku smiled and said to Beerus and Whis. Although he didn't know Goten very well, he thought Goten wouldn't make such a wish. Vegeta agreed. This time, Kakarot and I think the same way. As a Saiyan, I absolutely disdain to become stronger in this way. However, they were not Goten, so they couldn't know what he thought. More importantly, although Goku and Vegeta's desire for power was strong, they never considered going against Hakaishin or Angel. They never thought they would one day fight Zeno and the others. But Goten had to think about these things. If they did not have enough strength, it could be their 7th universe wiped out today. To prevent this, he would do anything. Saiyan pride was not as important to him as life. Goten, you won the final prize, so you also get a chance to make a wish to Super Shenron. Now the 6 of you are still on the ring, so you can discuss what wish you want to make, Grand Priest said calmly, looking at Goten and the others on the boulder. In reality, all decisions were in Goten's hands. Goten, what wish do you want to make? Krillin asked curiously. Trunks and Gohan were also quite curious. After finally winning this fight, what would Goten's final wish be? Hey, Goten smiled wryly at Krillin's question. This tournament of power was designed by Zeno and Grand Priest, and they had already planned the end result. If the wish wasn't made according to their expectations, the 8 universes would be wiped out. Although he wanted to wish for more strength, he knew that doing so would result in the 7th universe being erased. The only way to survive was to wish to restore the erased universes. Have you discussed it? If you have, please express your wish. The Grand Priest's voice sounded again. Come on, any wish can come true. You can say whatever you want, Zeno said with a smile. Despite his naive, harmless appearance, no one underestimated him. He had just clenched his fists and destroyed the 7 universes. Zeno-sama, my wish is simple. Seeing the destruction of 7 universes just now, I feel awful. While I don't quite see eye to eye with a few of the Hakaishin, billions of lives in a universe are innocent. So my wish is, can the universes that were erased just now be restored? Goten said respectfully. What? Goten, how can you make such a wish? This is a rare opportunity. Even a little improvement in strength is good. And those universes were erased by Zeno-sama himself. If you do this, it's not good, Gohan said, worried that Goten's wish would contradict Zeno. Don't worry, I have my own ideas, Goten replied lightly. Seeing his confidence, they stopped questioning. They knew Goten had his reasons. Beerus and Whis were quite surprised, as were the angels from other universes. Angel Margarita from the 11th universe was especially shocked. Belmod had wanted to eliminate the 7th universe and kill Goten, yet Goten repaid their maliciousness with kindness by using his wish to revive the 7 erased universes. No one in the multiverse would likely do such a thing. While they were known as righteous warriors, none matched Goten's level of kindness. That boy Goten, I never thought he would make such a wish. It looks like I'll have to look at him with admiration from now on, Beerus said, surprised but happy at the thought of his brother Champa being resurrected. That's right, Beerus-sama. Whis was quite surprised by this. He thought that Goten's wish would definitely be to make himself stronger or to give himself certain abilities. But unexpectedly, his wish was to restore all the universes that were just erased. This was indeed incredible. Even Zeno and the Grand Priest showed disbelief on their faces. Goten, do you know that Super Shenron can grant any wish? The Grand Priest asked with some disbelief. You didn't make a wish for yourself, but to restore the universes that disappeared just now. Are you sure this is your wish? After all, he couldn't believe it when Goten expressed such a wish. Mortals had always been relatively greedy by nature. Such a selfless desire was unexpected. Really? Really? Goten, do you really want to make this wish? Zeno also asked curiously. He never thought someone would make such a wish, especially Goten, who had won in the end. It was as if Goten knew what he had discussed with the Grand Priest beforehand. Yes, Zeno-sama, Daishinkan-sama, Goten nodded seriously. This is my wish. Everyone who was erased just now will be restored. His tone was serious, emphasizing that he meant to resurrect all the people who were erased just now, not everyone wiped out by Zeno. Restoring everyone could cause a significant turmoil in the multiverse. Okay, since you're sure that's the wish, I'll help you realize it right away. The Grand Priest smiled and nodded. He then conveyed the wish to Super Shenron. Okay, yours is pretty simple. Super Shenron immediately agreed. A scarlet light flashed in his eyes, and in the next second, the 7 universes that had disappeared reappeared in their original places. Okay, I have fulfilled your wish. Farewell. After Super Shenron's voice fell, he instantly turned into 7 golden rays of light and disappeared into the Null Realm. At this time, everyone who had just been resurrected was shocked. They had indeed been completely wiped out by Zeno, so why were they revived now? What's going on here? Why are we resurrected? Didn't Zeno-sama wipe us out just now? Champa looked at Vados beside him in surprise and asked, Champa-sama, you had indeed been completely wiped out by Zeno-sama before, Vados explained seriously. But just now, Daishinkan-sama summoned Super Shenron, and as the final winner of this tournament of power, the 7th universe's wish was to restore all the universes that were erased just now. So you were resurrected. This time, you have to thank Goten of the 7th universe. Vados still couldn't believe Goten's decision. Many Hakaishin had targeted him. If it were an ordinary person, they would not wish to revive these gods. But Goten was able to ignore past grievances. Such kindness was not common. You must be joking. It was actually that kid from the 7th universe who brought us back to life? How is this possible? He should logically hate us. Champa found it hard to believe Vados's words. They had been targeting Goten and the 7th universe before. That kid didn't seem like the type to repay malice with kindness. Believe it or not, that's the truth anyway, Vados stopped explaining. Beerus, what the hell are you doing? Why would you make such a strange wish? Champa looked at Beerus immediately and asked. He thought it must be Beerus's wish because he couldn't believe it was Goten's. How would I know? This wish was originally decided by Goten, and to be honest, I was surprised too, Beerus said helplessly. He had never thought about making such a wish because it could potentially displease Zeno. After all, Zeno himself had erased the previous 7 universes. Wah! Caulifla looked at Kale excitedly and then looked at Goten on the ring seriously. I really didn't expect that it was Goten from the 7th universe who revived us, she said in a low voice. It seems that I underestimated the Saiyans of the 7th universe. They not only have stronger power than us, but also a much larger heart than us. If this fight had ended with their 6th universe winning, she wouldn't have made such a selfless wish. In this regard, Goten was obviously much better than them. Yes, sister. That's great. Kale was also thrilled. Goten, you are the first person I admire, Hit said, looking at Goten. What had happened just now made many Hakaishin and Kaioshin from other universes feel very grateful to Goten. Although they were gods, they also had hearts full of gratitude. This time, the Tournament of Power was originally organized by Zeno and the Grand Priest. The rule that if you lose, you would be erased was also set by the two of them. The 7th universe was just like the others, just an ordinary contestant. So, even if they were erased in the end, it didn't actually have much to do with the 7th universe. After being wiped out, Goten was able to make a wish to bring them back to life. This was already a great kindness. Of course, some people thought so, but others didn't. They blamed Goten for everything that was erased and even felt humiliated. It's unbelievable that we're resurrected again. What's even more unbelievable is that it was Goten from the 7th universe who wished to bring us back to life, Toppo said, looking at his recovered body in extreme surprise. To be honest, he never dreamed that Goten would make a wish to bring them back to life. From the beginning of this fight, the 11th universe kept targeting the 7th universe. And although they called themselves Pride Troopers, righteous warriors, if they had won the final championship, there was no doubt that they would never make such a selfless wish. This time, Goten's performance was a bit unexpected. To be honest, even I feel very curious. Even Whis, who knows the 7th universe best, seems obviously surprised by this result, Margarita added. It had to be said that just because of this wish, the favorability of other universes towards the 7th universe suddenly increased a lot. At this moment, Jiren seemed to be thinking about something. After a while, he finally said, "I finally understand why Goten said that there is still a chance. It turns out that when he was fighting me, he had already determined his wish in his heart. I am really ashamed to admit it. We claim to be righteous warriors every day, but we are not as good as Goten. He is an admirable warrior." Jiren's words made all the contestants in the 11th universe serious, and they all nodded. They agreed with what Jiren said. In fact, each of them was a righteous warrior. It's just that in this fight, their positions were different. So in this fight, there were no absolute villains, just different positions. They just wanted to desperately keep their universe alive. However, Belmod's face was still gloomy and terrifying. Although he came back from the dead because of Goten, he would never forget the humiliation that mortal gave him. Belmod was not the only one with such thoughts. Other gods felt the same way. At this time, in the audience stands over Zeno and the Grand Priest. The Grand Priest spoke, "Everyone, congratulations on being able to resurrect again. For all this, you owe Goten of the 7th universe. Because he was the one who took advantage of Super Shenron's wish and resurrected all of you. At the same time, everyone in the 7th universe should also feel lucky. Before this tournament of power started, Zeno-sama and I discussed how to deal with the universes whose mortal level was too low. Zeno-sama's previous decision was to directly erase all 8 of your universes. Some time ago, Zeno-sama discovered the competition between the 7th universe and the 6th universe. He felt that such a competition was very interesting, so he held this competition and gave you a way to survive. At the very beginning of this competition, I discussed it with Zeno-sama. If the universe that wins in the end has other wishes because of selfishness, then all 8 of your universes would be erased. I have to say that everyone is very lucky. The wish of the 7th universe's Goten contestant is just as we expected, so you have a chance to survive. And the 7th universe also has a chance to survive." The Grand Priest directly explained his and Zeno's previous plans. His speech made all the gods and contestants tremble. It turned out to be like this. We were almost erased. Thanks to Goten for making such a wish, we survived, Beerus and the others suddenly realized. That was to say, even if they had won the final championship, if the outstanding contestants were too selfish and wished only to benefit themselves, then the 8 universes would still be erased. Indeed it is. However, I'm a little suspicious now. Did Goten know about Zeno-sama's and the Grand Priest's intentions before us? Whis said curiously. Before, he felt that such a wish was a bit out of line with Goten's character. Now, after hearing the Grand Priest's explanation, his suspicion grew even stronger. At this time, the gods and contestants from other universes also felt lucky from the bottom of their hearts. Fortunately, it was Goten of the 7th universe who won the final prize. If the victory had gone to any other universe, they might have been completely wiped out long ago. Zeno and the Grand Priest's approach was really hard to guard against. "All right, announce another piece of news to everyone," Grand Priest continued. Because of the seventh universe's outstanding performance in the Tournament of Power and the wish made by contestant Goten, the comprehensive mortal level of the seventh universe has been improved. So, the comprehensive ranking of mortals in the seventh universe is now the fourth from the bottom. For such a result, all universes had no opinion. Even if the seventh universe became the first in the overall ranking, they wouldn't mind. The contestants from the seventh universe performed too dazzlingly in this Tournament of Power. "Zeno-sama, do you have any other orders?" the Grand Priest asked. Not anymore. It was a pleasure to watch today's fight. I think I want to rest a little bit now. Let everyone go back." Zeno shook his head and said, after watching the fight for so long, it was time for a good nap. "Okay." The Grand Priest nodded immediately. Then he turned to everyone and said, "Everyone, please go back." "Yes, Zeno-sama, Daishinkan-sama." All the gods and contestants nodded quickly. They didn't want to stay in this dangerous place any longer, fearing they might suddenly be erased again. Immediately afterward, all the gods and contestants were sent back to their respective universes by the Grand Priest. After everyone left the Null Realm, Zeno looked at the Grand Priest and asked, "Grand Priest, what do you think of Goten from the seventh universe?" "Zeno-sama, Goten is very strong and talented. It is no exaggeration to say that he exists at the apex of mortals. It is estimated that in the eons to come such a powerful mortal will not appear," the Grand Priest replied seriously. His words were true. In hundreds of millions of years there had never been such a powerful mortal as Goten. His talent was indeed extraordinary. In just over a dozen years he had possessed power beyond the level of an angel. If given enough time to practice, surpassing the Grand Priest himself might not be impossible. Although Goten didn't show it in the Tournament of Power, the Grand Priest could feel the divine key of destruction in his body. "Okay, Goten is really strong, but I can always feel that he is different from others. As if he has a very mysterious aura," Zeno said seriously, though a bit uncertain. He couldn't perceive what that mysterious aura was, but it intrigued him. "Zeno-sama, I actually feel the same way. I think it's really difficult to reach this level with only a mortal's talent." The Grand Priest nodded immediately. He had this feeling before, but it was always uncertain. "Forget it. Let's not discuss these things for now. Actually, after this Tournament of Power ended, I had an idea. That is to make Goten the Daihakaishin." "What do you think?" Zeno asked. He felt that Goten was so powerful that he had the right to become a grand god of destruction, one level lower than the Grand Priest. In terms of strength alone, there is indeed no more suitable candidate than Goten in all universes. If Zeno-sama has such an idea, then I think this matter is feasible." The Grand Priest froze for a moment, then nodded. Goten's strength had indeed completely surpassed the level of a Hakaishin. Given time, it was estimated that even beings on the level of an angel would not be his opponents. So, it was understandable for him to become the Daihakaishin. After all, in this world, strength was the most important thing. Tien, cked. I am going back to the term God of Destruction. It might be an issue now since Grand God of Destruction is introduced. Daihakaishin and stuff seems moot now. Let's go back to their English versions. Lord for Sama, Supreme Kai, God of Destruction, Grand Priest stuff. You will get used to it after a couple of chapters. I should have stuck to the English ones. It was my mistake. Apologies in advance, XD.